Hello everyone. The topic of today's video is questions, or we can say interrogative sentences. So today we are going to talk about how the questions are asked and what are the different aspects we use while framing questions or framing interrogative sentences. So before we start the topic of questions, it's very mandatory to know about the structure of a sentence. Whenever we say about the structure, when we talk about the structure of a sentence, in case of affirmative sentences, so the structure is we follow is subject, helping verb, main verb and the object. This is a standard structure. Obviously this can also be varied, but in general this is the simple structure we use in case of affirmative sentences. We have a subject, then we have helping verb, main verb or and object. Now when we frame interrogative sentences or when we talk about question, then the structure of the sentence changes. If we look at this structure again, subject, helping verb, main verb and object. But in case of interrogative sentences, this structure changes. How? The helping verb comes before the subject. So the structure becomes helping verb, subject, main verb, object, and the most important part of the interrogative sentence or a question is question mark. It is always followed by a question mark. So what we see, the change in the structure is that the helping verb comes before the subject in case of a question or interrogative sentences. For example, affirmative sentence, we can say Tom will be here tomorrow. This is an example of affirmative sentence. So if we look at the structure and the example, we can very well understand Tom is the subject, will is helping verb, be main verb and this is object. But in case of question, what will be the structure? The structure will be the helping verb will come before the subject. So the structure will become will Tom be here tomorrow, and obviously it is always followed by a question mark. So this is the general basic structure of a question or interrogative sentence. Now the questions we ask changes according to the tense. So here we are going to talk about two tenses, present simple and past simple. In case of present simple tense, the affirmative structure is subject, first form of the verb, followed by SER-ES where necessary, plus object. We very well know that the structure of the present simple is that whenever the subject is third person singular, he, she, it, any name, etc., it is verbs first form and followed by SER-ES. But if the subject is other than third person singular, if the subject is I, we, you, etc., then we use only first form of the verb. When we convert affirmative into interrogative or when we ask question using present simple tense, the structure will become do or does is always used in case of present simple tense. Do or does comes before the subject, then it is always followed by first form of the verb, object and then question mark. So this is the structure we use in case of question in present simple tenses. For example, he drives a bus. Now, if you look at the structure and compare it with this example, subject he, drives, we have added s with the first form of verb drive. It becomes drive because the subject is third person singular. And then object is bus. And this is the structure of interrogative. This is an example of question. So, what is the structure of interrogative sentence here? Does he drive a bus? Subject, first form of the verb, object, and this is the helping verb. So this is the structure of, in case of present simple, this is the structure of questions. Now past simple tense, in case of past simple tense, in case of affirmative sentences, we follow this structure: subject, second form of the verb and then object. Now in case of question in past simple tense, did, subject, first form of the verb and object. Now did do, does and did. Basically we have to understand that in case of present simple and past simple tenses, do, does and did, these are used as helping verb to ask question. This we have to keep in mind. For example, he sold the car. Now subject, second form of the verb plus object. Now when we convert this into question, did he sell the car? So this is the structure of a question in case of past simple tense. Another important rule that we have to keep in mind regarding the questions is, do not use do, does, did if who, what, etc. is the subject of the sentence. Now these are the question words, or we can say WH word. So these words are always used, these are often used while asking questions, right? Now the rule says that if in any sentence any question word or any WH word is the subject, this is the basic condition that we have to keep in mind. If WH word is the subject in any sentence, then we do not use do, does or did. Otherwise, if we don't have who or what etc. as the subject of the sentence, then we can frame the question using these auxiliary verbs. But when who or what are used as the subject in the sentence, we do not use do, does or did. For example, to understand this rule, let's have a look at this example. We have two columns here, one showing who as the object and the other showing who as the subject. Now first have a look at the first column. For example, if I say Emma phoned somebody, Emma is the subject, phoned verb, somebody is the object. Now when I say somebody is the object, right, and if I convert this sentence into a question, then what will be the structure and how the question will be asked? The question will be asked like, who did Emma phone? Now who, no doubt it is before the subject in this sentence, but don't be confused, because no doubt it is at the beginning of the sentence, but that doesn't mean that who is acting as the subject in the sentence. We have to look into the meaning of the who here, of the word who. Who is not the subject, rather who is the object. Who did Emma phone? Now who is the object and we have used did, because the rule says we do not use do, does, did if who is the subject. Who is not the subject here, who is the object, that is why we can use did here. But in the second example, if I say somebody phoned Emma, now what is the subject in this sentence? Somebody. So what will be the question framed here? Who phoned Emma? Now we have used only who, we have not used did here in this sentence. Why? Because who is the subject in this sentence, who is not the object, rather who is the subject, and the rule says if who is the subject of the sentence, we do not use do, does or did. So I have taken the example of past simple, did in this example over here. This rule also applies to do and does as well. Moving on, another important point here to keep in mind with regard to question is that in many sentences we use prepositions in questions. So what could be the position of prepositions in questions? Those questions which begin with who, what, which, etc. Again, these are the question words. Now if a question is beginning with WH word or question word, then what will be the position of preposition on those questions? In this case, what we have to be specify about is that the preposition will always be put at the end of the sentence in in this situation, when who, the question is beginning with who, what, which, the preposition will be used at the end. Who do you want to speak to? The question is beginning with who, right? And we have used a preposition here. So what will be the position of preposition here? In this situation, the preposition will be used at the end of the sentence. So this is the position of preposition. Now another important topic that relates to question is question tags. I hope most of you have heard about question tags. If not, then I hope this discussion will help you out. What are question tags? Question tags are a sort of mini questions. They are a sort of mini questions that are usually asked during our day-to-day conversation, or rather we can say that question tags are those mini questions that we usually use in spoken English, right? So first look at the example. We will try to understand what are question tags, and then we will discuss the other aspects of question tags, how they are framed and how they can be used. Suppose if I ask a question, it was a good film, wasn't it? Now this is a question I'm asking to somebody, it was a good film, wasn't it? So this part of the sentence is the question tag. So we always put a comma before the question tag, and question tag is used at the as the second part of the sentence. So this is a sentence and this is the question tag, and we always put a question mark after it. This is a question tag. So wasn't it, this is question tag, and the answer to this question could be yes, it was great. Now how the question tags are formed or how they can be constituted, we use auxiliary verb. It could be primary, it could be modals, have, was, will, etc. All the auxiliary verbs, they are used in question tag. So like if we look at this example again, was not. So was is a auxiliary verb, and we form question tags using auxiliary verbs. So how question tags are formed? They are formed by using the auxiliary verb. Now another important thing that we have to learn and understand about question tags is that how we can frame and how we can make question tags. We have two columns over here, and if you look at the examples here, there are two options given here: positive sentence plus negative tag, negative sentence and a positive tag. So this is the structure that we have already used in this example. I have bifurcated it. I have divided this sentence into two parts, positive and negative. Now if the sentence, the first part of the sentence is a positive sentence, the rule says the question tag will always be negative. It will be vice versa. If the first part of the sentence is positive, question tag will be negative, and we will reverse this order. If the sentence is negative, the question tag will be positive. For example, Kate will be here soon, won't she? So what we have done here, it is a positive sentence and we have used a negative tag here. Will not. We have used the same auxiliary verb here. In the positive sentence it was will, and we changed it into negative, will not. Likewise here, in the first part of the sentence, if the sentence is negative, won't. Kate won't be late, will she? So the question tag is positive. And how we have used what auxiliary we have used? We have picked it from here. It's will not, it will become will. If it is will here, it will be won't or will not. But there are some exceptions in case of this structure. Here what we have learned is that the auxiliary given in the first part of the sentence will be used as the question tag. Positive and negative, it will interchange. But there are some exceptions. How? Look at this. If we have letters in a sentence, then the question tag used with letters will be shall be. For example, let's go for a walk. Now we don't have any auxiliary verb here. So how can we form the question tag? So this is a fixed rule here that we will use shall we in case of let's. Likewise, don't. After don't, question tag is will you. For example, don't be late, will you. Now here we do have an auxiliary here, but don't is always changed into will you as a question tag. Another important exception to keep in mind is I am. If I am is used in a sentence, the question tag is are not I, aren't I. Am not I will not be used. It has to keep in mind I am will be changed into aren't I. For example, I am right, aren't I. I have used am as an auxiliary verb over here, but I'm not using am not I. Am I not is not will not be used as a question tag. We use I am and aren't I. Question tags are usually used in spoken English. They are usually, like I already told you, that they are usually used in spoken English, and they are a part of our day-to-day conversation. So this was just some basic things about questions and the question tags. I hope this video will be useful for you people. Thank you so much.